While not without flaw, Diablo 3 has finally arrived, and it's amazing. After 50 hours and counting of spilling the blood of my enemies, my Diablo 3 addiction shows no signs of stopping. Blizzard has refined the series to be much more user-friendly than what's come before, but has also honed the best parts of its beloved action RPG. Combat remains engrossing, multiplayer is a breeze, but best of all, Blizzard has created a game so gratifying that it's hard not to spend every waking moment playing, slaying, and hunting for the next epic piece of loot.
Was a worthy foe!
Imperial, the ancient law of the high heavens strictly forbids us from interfering with the mortal world. Yet you have done so, brazenly.
All I am guilty of, Imperius, is bringing justice.
Diablo 3's story follows your hero on a quest to slay evil and save the world. You pick from one of 5 predetermined classes, guiding them through a very linear narrative. It functions as a backdrop for the monster slaying, but it's super cliché. The sort of stuff you expect out of so-so fantasy novels or a summer popcorn flick. The voice acting is great though, as are the absolutely epic cutscenes you unlock between the game's 4 acts.
Then, at long last, Osmodan shall reign as the prime evil.
Story isn't what's important though. What is important is the way Diablo 3 handles loot and building up your hero, both of which are done masterfully. Like unwrapping a present at Christmas, there's something so utterly invigorating about seeing treasure erupt from the bodies of your enemies. It's akin to opening a pack of baseball or comic book cards, and the sheer thrill I feel when something incredible drops is intoxicating. And then I do it all over again, always on the hunt for the next big win. Randomly generated dungeons ensure each run through them is interesting, whether it's for the first time or the 40th. Certain portions of them might repeat because they're necessary for story progression, but overall, the door or item you need to find might change location, new chests might appear, or an epic monster might replace what was previously a swarm of enemies. Each replay presents a unique set of circumstances that ropes you in and makes you want more. There's also more to do with your loot in Diablo 3. After filling up your inventory, you can rapidly return to town to offload your loot thanks to an integrated portal system. Then you can either sell that treasure to a merchant, jump out of the game and put it up in the auction house, or break it down into component parts via the blacksmith. The blacksmith and the jeweler are great additions to Diablo 3, adding in crafting systems and reasons to hold on to your gold. And that thrill of finding loot is still present too, since the loot your blacksmith creates has randomly generated benefits. Having more to do with the ample amounts of treasure you acquire is welcome, though I wish that we weren't still waiting for the real money auction house, and that you could put more than 10 items up for auction at a time, which is incredibly annoying. Getting new loot is addictive, but killing the monsters who drop it is a lot of fun too. Blizzard really nailed the pacing of each fight, tossing in waves of lesser foes to make you feel powerful, and then spicing things up with randomly generated or story-based monsters. Outside of key bosses, you never know exactly what you'll face next, and Diablo 3 gives you plenty of reasons to use a wide array of powers. Battles in Diablo 3 are also more about how skilled you are with your class and the gear you're wearing, compared to Diablo 2's potion spam-focused gameplay. Switching between a wide array of powers has never been easier either. Every level unlocks something new for your hero. Sometimes it's a new passive ability that boosts some stats, other times it's a new skill or augmentation, called a rune, for a previously unlocked skill. All your powers are easily accessible too, mapped to the first 4 number keys and the left and right mouse buttons. The limitations on how many powers you can have active at once forces you to think about how abilities affect one another, and how you can put together a skill list that is best for the situation at hand. It's worth noting that Blizzard doesn't explain some of the most important options to you though. Advanced tooltips and elective mode are off by default, and more skilled players will want to enable them so they can customize their skill list further, as well as better understand the type and amount of damage their skills do. It's great that they ease new players into the systems to start, but just letting us know the options exist in game would have been welcomed. The skill system Blizzard has implemented allows you to quickly open a menu, select new powers and augments, and then immediately put them to use. You're never locked into a decision permanently, nor are you given points to allocate to powers you don't even know if you really want or not. Having those decisions taken away is actually quite liberating, forcing you to adapt your character based on what's available and making the whole experience more approachable. It also encourages a lot of experimentation. Powers that you may have unlocked and ignored in earlier parts of the game could become invaluable tools based on some new rune you unlock later. By the end of the game, you have so many powers and runes for them that battles never feel stale. The normal difficulty is relatively easy, but on Nightmare and beyond, enemies start using new combinations of powers that make every encounter potentially life-threatening. You have to change your tactics and your gear too, ensuring that each replay of Diablo 3 feels like your character is evolving. Playing a multiplayer game further increases the health of monsters. It gives you plenty of reasons to try out new combinations of powers that complement one another. And because it's always online, Blizzard has integrated a friends list that makes joining and inviting other players easier than ever. To make sure you avoid all the infighting that would result from treasure hogs and ninja looters, they've made it so you only see your own loot. It's ingenious. Chatting with one another is easy, even if you're in separate games, but it would have been nice if they included an integrated voice chat client. Even still, the current system makes me feel connected to my friends at all times, making me feel more part of the community than I do in any game outside of an MMO. Despite the problems I've laid out, the fact that player versus player isn't in yet, or the real money auction house hasn't been implemented, Diablo 3 is still one of the best PC games I've played in years. The loot system is second to none, and the ability to rapidly switch out my abilities to experiment without fear of screwing up permanently makes Diablo 3 much more fun than its predecessor. Diablo 3's strengths far outweigh its weaknesses, and while it'd be easy to nitpick things, it's just too damn good to really care all that much in the end. This isn't a game I'll be playing next week, or even next month. This is something I can and will likely play for years. For more on Diablo 3, you can go to IGN.